Jumping into Teladoc. Teladoc is clearly the big loser on the day. Let me just erase these so we can get a better picture of what's going on. But notice how on Teladoc you have completely, and basically the price action is just below this yellow line here. So you're in and amongst all this chop here. That's where this blue dotted line, 34.20, that's where you're trading. So there is lots of support here on TDOC, but look at this gap down. I mean, the fact that you go from, 55.79 all the way down to 34.20 is just a crazy drop. And that's why Cathie Wood is not going to be a happy camper when she wakes up tomorrow. Whether or not this company is a good buy, they did horrible earnings. But the fact that now you're below the COVID lows, which are actually all the way up here at the $100 mark, you've taken out the main 2019 low and you've taken out the main 2018 low, and now you're trading in and around this 2017 chop. So Teladoc, once again, despite they've missed earnings, should their valuation have been all the way up there like it was? No, it shouldn't have. But you have to keep in mind, Teladoc still has more members using their service that now than what they did at the start of the pandemic. So you can factor in that Teladoc trading at these levels may start being a little attractive in order to start accumulating a small swing trade position to play somewhat of a bounce. It's close to 90% down from its highs, which in my opinion makes it a potential bounce opportunity, since you are in multi-year support here back in 2017, as well as when it initially IPO'd 2015. So you're trading below the IPO price once again. We haven't seen that in multi years. So that is really incredible to see. Just jumping back to the hourly chart, TDOC still keeps selling off. You've created a little bit of a bottom here, which is good to see, and now you're holding it. So that's short-term bullish if you're taking this as a potential swing trade. But keep in mind, the big question is, what is Cathie Wood going to do tomorrow? Is she going to be dumping? Is she going to be buying? Dollar cost averaging down? I certainly wouldn't want to be in her position. I wouldn't want to be taking a $360 million loss. But at the same time, she runs the risk of exposing herself and her fund to too much TDOC. I mean, $1 billion position in this stock is already a tremendous amount. Another beautiful addition today. I sent out this alert late in the day, but nonetheless on Amgen. Amgen's reporting earnings. I don't usually try to front run a stock into earnings, but this has severely paid off. And I just want to go over this with you. Okay, so Amgen. One of the reasons why I shorted at here, the 250.54 mark, is the reason here is you've had all of these tails. You've had one topping tail, two topping tail, three topping tail, four topping tails. And then when you look, you also have this mega weekly topping tail on the chart. That is just incredible. And it's held. So you had many tails in succession. You're trading near the all-time highs in this stock. And I figured, you know what? The risk to reward ratio, sure, it could pop another 5-10% up to these 266 levels, up to this 280 level, up to this 290 level. But this is a great area to start accumulating a position, a short position. And I am so happy that we pulled the trigger on that short trade, because look what happened. And this is the thing that I've noticed is every time stocks are rallying into earnings, even if they beat earnings, they have to beat it by a substantial margin in the current climate that we're in. And if companies don't really wow their investors in earnings reports, even if they beat, they often get shredded. So Amgen actually beat their earnings, a double beat, and look, still down over 6% from where we shorted it. And where do I think this is going? I think this is going to the gap fill down here, around this 219 mark, which would be a beautiful trade. We could potentially see that flush tomorrow or by Friday, just depending on how the other earnings are. But beautiful, we're deep in the money. I urge people, if you took this trade with me, protect it now. Put a stop loss, maybe, above this wick high here at the 242 mark, so that we bank minimum, a nice 3% or 4% gain. I'll leave that up to you. But the downside target is around this 219 and change level. Gap fill on the daily basis will be a big technical level to cover our short. But awesome ad. I love it when you can quickly get in a trade and get out of a trade with profit. It is truly remarkable. Pinterest reported earnings. They've had pretty wild session too. Look at this huge rip to the upside, and then it sold off, and now it's starting to rally again. So again, they had a double beat. They really beat on the estimate for earnings, which is up over 230%, which is why it had a big pop. But nonetheless, the name is one of those beaten down names that are very low on the charts. In fact, often the bottoms come at the low on the charts. Sorry, I should rephrase that. Often the breakouts of major volumes comes at the low on the charts. And look where we are on Pinterest. We're at an extreme oversold level, and now it's due for a pop. PayPal also acting very well. We're now just flat on the trade. You can see on the screen level, but it did have a decent pop, which gives me some optimism for PayPal. Their forward guidance was still a little bit weak, but I kind of think they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater still. Still kind of piggybacking on their last bad earnings call. But nonetheless, still one of the oversold names into huge long-term support on PayPal. If we flip to the weekly basis, look what you kissed today. The double bottom of COVID, and you got it bounce. Is that a clear technical level or what? An amazing level. I actually had a buy level on PayPal, just a little bit lower. I was going to issue an alert. Too bad we didn't fill that one. It would have put us in the money on our trade, but nonetheless, we're in a great position on our trade. We're now basically break even. I still think PayPal has tremendous upside once the rally in the markets get going. Potential upside on PayPal is to this 107.50 area. There's a key technical gap fill on a daily basis. It just may also coincide with this downsloping trend line. Okay, so wild action in the markets.